Welcome to the Silver Shop. My name is Uwe Bauer and I'm the proprietor and silversmith of the Silver Shop here in Saratoga. Many times when I'm about town, people ask me, what do you do? And I say, I'm a silversmith and I own the Silver Shop in Saratoga. And invariably somebody would say, oh yes, I drive by this place all the time. I always wondered what's going on in there. Well, today you find out what's going on in here. You come in for a visit and I show you around. Before we go in, I'd like to tell you that everything in the shop is made by myself. I make the jewelry, wash the windows, sweep the floors. It's a total one-man operation. Been in business here for 45 years, and let's keep on going and come on inside. The first thing you see when you come in the shop is the center case. That's my display of turquoise. The reason I feature this in the center is because it's a typical American stone, and when people sometimes want to send something overseas, they like to buy turquoise because it's what Native Americans use in their jewelry. And I do some Native American designs, but I also do regular European designs here when I show you a little bracelet. It's a large piece of turquoise. Indians use a lot of natural designs, flowers, leaves, and I try to copy them a little bit, but I also do regular designs. Here's another bracelet. There's feathers. And this is the turquoise design in the center case. Most of the stones I work with are semi-precious stones. There are precious stones, ruby, diamond, emerald, sapphires. I use synthetics. But all the other stones in the shop are real. This display case has sapphires, tanzanite, emerald, and alexandrite. Those are faceted stones. To the other side of the door, we have other faceted stones. We have ruby, we have the peridot, aquamarine, and tourmaline on the bottom. Now these are synthetic stones. All the other stones in the shop are real. Real precious stones are very expensive. That's not the type of jewelry I make. I'm into the fun jewelry. I'm least expensive. So these are the two display cases that have synthetic lab-created stones in them. Here by the window I have a display of blue topaz and smoky topaz. And as we walk over to this showcase, this showcase has jaspers in it. Jasper comes in many different colors. It's a very pretty stone. There's a bracelet in there. It's like a desert scene with the blue sky. Very appreciated by people. In that long showcase right here, I have spoon rings. Believe it or not, they have come back. Being a child of the 60s and worn spoon rings, it's nice to see them come back. All my spoon rings that I make are sterling silver, and they're soldered like a regular ring. They're not open, they're not adjustable, they're like a full ring. And I size everything. Everything in the shop that I make is sized for free. Normally jewelry stores charge for sizing because they don't make it themselves, they send it out. I make everything in here. Sizing is part of the purchase. There's different price categories. There's one that, smaller ones that are 30, larger ones are 40, and there's some real big ones that are $60. On the middle shelf, I show lapis lazuli, poppy jasper, and black onyx. And on the bottom I have two displays of amethysts. One is called the cabochon amethyst. It has a flat surface. This is the faceted amethyst. It's cut like a diamond. It's a little dresser, a little more expensive. And malachite in the middle. It's beautiful green with black marbles in it. Here I have two little showcases that I sort of feature things that are a little special that I made up. Here's a hummingbird with a ruby. The hummingbird is sort of nipping on the ruby. It's supposed to be like a little flower. And over here there's a stone called black sardonyx. It's a wonderful piece that's very impressive. It's got the largest stone in the middle and two smaller ones on the side with the matching earrings. It's $150 for the set. It's very pretty and very attractive. And underneath we have a green and blue Botswana Agate. And on the showcase to the right from there is my display of dragonflies that I've made up. This Dragonfly Pendant. I sold my bracelet the other day after making a new one. There's a dragonfly pin, a dragonfly with a ruby set on it. And I want to take this one out because it's very attractive. Here are some dragonfly earrings, but here's a dragonfly ring. It has a ruby, and the dragonfly kind of goes around that ruby. It's very attractive. The band also has flowers on it, keeping with the theme of the flowers. Here's another dragonfly. It's a little different design. It has a blue topaz as a stone in it. So these are dragonflies, and I always make different ones. These are what I have just now. There's different ones that I make up. Next to the dragonfly we have a display of coral. Underneath is a stone called Leopard Agate. People liked it a lot. It looks like a leopard, the design. To the left of it is a display of tiger's eye. And as we go down to the bottom shelf, there's carnelian and a pink stone called rhodonite. Over here we have a case on the wall with musical notes and G-cliff, and underneath we have some crosses. Most of the crosses I make I keep in the back because I don't have enough display case, and here's a little sample of the crosses that I have in the back. If you like to see some crosses that I make, you have to ask for them. I have them in the back and I can pull them out for you to look at. This is a case on top. I show a piece of azurite. It's a pretty blue and green stone, and underneath there are freshwater pearls. And below the freshwater pearls is bloodstone. Bloodstone actually is a jasper that's being separated out because it's green and has little red sprinkles in it. Looks like blood spatter, and they call it bloodstone. Underneath that I have a display of moonstones. There's different moonstones: rainbow moonstone, regular gray moonstone, pink moonstone. I have one of each in here, I'm sure, a variety. Next to the moonstone there's garnets. That's January's birthstone. People like it a lot. Next to the garnet is hematite. It's a very shiny metallic black. People like it a lot. It's very popular. This is a display of clear quartz. This is sort of my diamond substitute. People always say it looks like a diamond, but it's not, and it's affordable. It just looks like a diamond. Over here next to it is a stone from Russia called sugilite. Really nice purple. And if you go over to the right from there is opal. Now opal is this month's birthstone for October, and throughout the shop there is various displays of opal jewelry that I feature because it's this month's birthstone. Usually I feature extra pieces for the month there is a birthstone. So it's October for opal, and the next week will be a topaz, and I have already making some things for next week to display for the November birthstone. And on the end of the showcase is the Baltic amber, the one that sometimes has little animals in there, little insects. I don't have any with insects. They're very hard to find, and when you find them, they're very expensive. But it has little pieces of debris in it, or maybe something from a branch or a little leaf or something. That's the Baltic amber. On top here is a display case with jade, a stone called lace agate, and blue lace agate. And over here is a stone called blue zircon, and below that it's mystic topaz. This stone is all the rage. I have a hard time finding that stone, and people really love this. It's so many colors in there. It's very lovely here. I can maybe, I don't know where it can be. You can see the colors in that. It's just so Below that is a display of golden and champagne topaz. Below there is something called Citrine. It's also a birthstone for November. And on the bottom I have a few Celtic designs. I don't make too many Celtic designs, but every now and then I feel like making something, so there's a few Celtic ones on the bottom. And over here there's some ivory. It's always a problematic because it's illegal. I don't know, I bought some ivory beads that seem to be pretty old, and what I do, I cut them in half and then I use them like a stone. So there's a few pieces of ivory here. And over, you go to this case over here, there's something called azurite, blue and ruby star sapphire. They have a little star in them, and if you have another light, you get another star. So it's a lot of times the stones are too small to appreciate it, but another light source adds another stone, another star to it. There's something called Mexican Obsidian, the brachiated jasper. I separate this out from the other jaspers. It's very pretty. The patterns are just wonderful. You can just take one out here, the bracelet. You can look at it. It's just sort of reds and browns and gray. And again, I base this sort of on an Indian design. It has feathers with beaded work and the stone in the middle. Nice thing of working with stones is the stone almost tells you what it wants done with it. You put it on your bench and you look at it for a while, and they're scream bracelets, so they are made a bracelet out of it. It's brachiated jasper. Further on is something called Lavender Jade and the stone called Amazonite on the bottom. I just started to work with Amazonite. It's a very pretty green. That's a little crazy design that I make. A little swirl on top of the band. It's kind of whimsical. Something like this is $60. It's very affordable. Now here are pieces that are sort of really fun jewelry, conversation pieces. All these pieces I'm showing you now, they're made out of sterling silver forks. Here's an elephant that I make. You see the trunk, the little tail and the 4 feet, but 3 feet actually. And the trunk, the eye, it's a conversation piece. Over here I have a fork that I made into an octopus. This little face is from another spoon that I took off to make the face actually. And then over here there's a fish. I saw quite a few of those fishes. It's a conversation piece. And I also make a cat out of the fork. There's a cat. Now here in this showcase there's just plain sterling silver without any stones. There's another hummingbird and an owl that I make, and a penguin. And these are all pieces that don't have any stones. And here's something called infinite love jewelry. Just the infinite sign instead of just the upside down 8. I use 2 hearts, put them in sort of like a cartouche, and make jewelry out of it, bracelet, rings, and earrings, and go over very well. I do well with those. I'm surprised how much people like it. And in that corner cabinet over here, there's another display of just plain sterling silver jewelry. I just finished this pendant yesterday. I really like it myself. It's a hummingbird with flowers. And the frame that you see around here, this is silver that I dropped into a vessel of water, either a big bucket or sometimes a gallon full. There's a 55-gallon drum full of water, and I pour the silver, and when it goes down, drains down to the bottom, it makes these long designs. This particular one has, and I look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pieces that I soldered together to make this frame. And it's just very attractive. It's an unusual way. It's my special way of making some jewelry. It's they call them water castings. You put this back inside. Here's another thing that's very lovely. That's a spoon ring actually. It's made out of a sterling silver spoon handle, where the design goes all the way around, and rather than just solder it like most people do, or have it just stop there, I have the spoon come around. I set a piece of ruby on the end, and then I put the hummingbird there. So this is very attractive. It's just a see it on myself. This is a piece that years ago was come in handy when you were driving a car and we didn't have GPS. You had to look at the map. This is a magnifying glass that I make into a piece of jewelry. We don't use it anymore in cars today, but people really love it as a piece of jewelry. And every now and then, you know, you can use it, look up something. But it's sterling silver with a really heavy chain and the frame around the magnifying glass. This is $150. It's one of the more expensive pieces in the shop. So, but it's unusual. It's a conversation piece. So now that you've seen all my works in the shop here, maybe I can tell you something about myself. I'm an immigrant to this country. I came here when I was 21 years old in 1968. I landed in New York and met my wife, and we got married. And jewelry making was my hobby, and we drove from New York on weekends and would set up at flea markets, craft shows. And one time we were setting up in Collegeville at the Powerhouse Flea Market. Still there, and we liked it a lot. There were a lot of nice people there. There was a coffee shop at the time at the Powerhouse Flea Market. And we came back some weeks later, and I said to my wife, why don't you take care of the jewelry while I'll drive around town. I want to see what's going on. So I drove up Main Street and I saw the college. And across the street from the college was a house that had a little storefront in it. And in the storefront was a sign for rent. And in the back there was a light on. There was a real estate store in the back. Tony Jaimo, he became a good friend later on. And I went in and I said, how much does that store rent for? And he said it was $100. And even in 1972 that was affordable. So I went back down to the flea market and said to my wife, I want to show you something. So I drove up to the shop with the rent sign on it. And she looked at me and she said, well, that's what you want to do. I'm game. So we rented a U-Haul in New York, packed everything up, rented an apartment a little bit below the store there, and the rest is history. I've been in business since 1972. I was in Collegeville until '78. Then I moved up here to Saratoga, where I purchased the property where I am now. But before I stop this, I want to just tell you, I was born in Germany after the Second World War, and luck would have it, I was born in the American sector. Germany was divided into four sections, and I was born in the American sector. And we lived outside of town, and one morning when I wake up, there was a tank parked in front of our house. And all the little kids already were climbing on the tank and talking with hand and feet with the American soldiers. They didn't speak German, we didn't speak English. We had a good time talking to them with hand and feet. And this is a true story. One of the soldiers gave me his Hershey chocolate bar. And I swear to this day, that started me on the journey to the United States. Because then I thought, oh, any place where they have such delicious things as this Hershey bar, that must be a good place. So I looked out for American things around. I was interested in American history. And when I was 21 years old enough to set out on my own, I went to the embassy, and I thought I was worthy, and got my paperwork, and here I am. It's a wonderful story, I have to say. It's very compelling, and it's a wonderful country, and it provided me. What it did, it left me alone. It let me do what I do best, and I'm always thankful for. So that's my story. Please come to the shop. I'm open Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays 11 to 6. Saturdays from 10 to 5. I'm closed Sunday, Mondays, and Tuesdays. After Thanksgiving, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'm open every day. Extended hours all around during that time. Sundays I'm here from noon to 4. I have all kinds of layaway plans. You tell me the plan that you would like to have. I'm sure I'll agree to it, as long as you pay up sometime in the future. Anything in the shop that I make, I size for free. There's no charge for sizing anything. If you see anything in the shop that you like, but you don't like the stone, maybe I have one in the back. I have hundreds, maybe 1,000 stones in the back to choose from. You can pick a stone and I'll make the same thing that you see with one stone. I can make it with another. There's no extra charge for that, whatever that item costs here, unless the stone is more expensive. So please come on down to the shop, visit with me. Unfortunately, I don't have my two buddies here. I usually have two cats in here, Tabby and Alex, but you know, when you come, you might find them here. They're very friendly. And so please come and visit with me. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the day.